What's up everybody, and welcome to the Killer Queen Black Beginner's Guide. Now if you're watching this video, I assume that you haven't purchased the game yet, or you just purchased it, or you just played a little bit and you're trying to figure out what's going on. Either way, welcome, and I hope this helps you understand the game a little bit more. So, let's dive right into it. Killer Queen Black is a strategy action platformer with an emphasis on strategy. There are 3 ways to win, some a bit easier than others. The first and easiest way to win, in my opinion, is the military victory. Now, the military victory is when you kill the queen a total of 3 times. If you have an excellent queen, that might be better than an entire decent team. This game is fairly new and not a lot of people have gotten close to mastering it yet. If you can excel at being the best queen, that might just be enough right now to take you to the top. The reason for that is because the queen has so much impact in the game, especially if you are on a map where you can dive from the top to the bottom of the map and so on and so forth. The second way to win would be the Snail Victory. There's no better feeling than locking out at all of the enemy's panels, leaving them with no soldiers and forcing the enemy queen to deal with a snail. A Snail Victory is when you have one of the workers jump on the snail and ride it to the finish line. Keep in mind that you have to push the joystick in the direction you want to go to actually move the snail. So don't get stuck there and wonder why you're not moving. It's because you're not pushing that joystick. This is one of the best times to waste the enemy's important characters, so like a queen or a soldier, because they have to deal with you, and if they don't, they lose the game. The last way to win would be an economic victory. This is the most difficult way to win in my opinion, and it involves filling all of your hive holes with berries. You can toss berries in the holes like Kobe Bryant, or pass them to your teammates. Honestly, I wouldn't even try this method unless there was at least 2 people involved in the process, as a snail would beat you if you tried to solo this. It is also easy to lock out an economic victory just by one soldier with a mace if he knows what he's doing. Next, let's talk about the different units and some of the strategies that revolve around them. First up, obviously, has to be the queen. The queen is the most important unit in my opinion. If you have a bad queen, no matter how good the rest of your team is, you're gonna lose. The queen must continuously engage the enemy without overextending. And what I mean by that is, you must spend your time diving around and killing as many things as you can while keeping your panels lit. And you have to make sure you're not gonna find yourself in a corner with 2 enemy soldiers while you're doing it. The queen's best tool is unique to her character class, the dive. Now the dive allows you to zip from top to bottom of the map, and if a map allows you to scroll from top to bottom, the queen's even more potent. You can just zip through over and over again. And there's almost no lag time or frames in between the attacks while the queen is diving. If the queen isn't diving and just attacking normally, the enemy can make you whiff, turn on you, and kill you pretty easily. So the key is to keep the queen diving as much as possible. The next up would be the soldier class. Now the soldier class is extremely versatile and it comes from the worker class. Any worker can grab a berry, jump on a neutral or team lit panel and turn into a soldier. From the panel they can choose a weapon or a power-up. You can even double some of these power-ups. A great combo for the snail, for example, would be a speed boost and a shield. Each weapon has its own strategies and special uses, so let's get into them. The speed boost is pretty self-explanatory. It makes you go fast, but it really shines when it's paired with a weapon or a shield. That brings me to the shield. The shield might seem like a pretty lame power-up, but it's actually great if it's paired. The shield allows you to take 1 hit from the front without dying. The shield breaks and then it regenerates itself after a few seconds. And keep in mind, you are still vulnerable from the top and the back while the shield's equipped. Next up is the mighty sword, the staple weapon and maybe the most well-rounded of the bunch. There's really no situation where picking up a sword is a bad idea if you're going to be a soldier. It allows you to attack boost left or right, but if you're in the air you can attack at a slight arc. Just think of a rainbow pattern. This comes in handy if the queen is trying to fly up and you're at her diagonal position below her. It will pair well with the shield and allow you to get a hit on the queen pretty much every single time as long as there's no enemy soldiers around. The queen will attack you, break your shield, and allow you to have enough time to counterattack. Now, onto the ray gun. The ray gun is a great option for shutting down a snail. It will shoot one blast that will continue across the screen if it's not blocked. The shot will have a few second cooldown, so make your shots count. You're going to want to use this to hold down any long, flat platforms as well. It pairs really well with a shield, and it actually is so effective at shutting down the snail push, you will automatically be targeted by enemy soldiers, so just be aware of that when you pick it up. The last on my list is the mace. Now the mace allows you to attack with a spinning pattern around you, which speeds up the closer to the end of the attack it gets. Keep in mind, it is still easy for an enemy queen or soldier to kill you if they know what they're doing. It is most effective at locking down the enemy's berry hive if they're trying to go for an economic victory or shutting down a snail victory. The best way to use the mace is to attack downwards from above your opponent while they are moving up. If you attack this way, it is extremely hard to counter. Now, let's not forget about the worker. You might think the worker is the weakest choice, but in actuality, the worker controls two ways to win by itself, so it's very important. The worker can bounce other workers by jumping into them, thus stalling a snail or weapon choice. If you're going to go worker for the game, you can immediately go for the snail at the beginning, and the queen or soldier will be forced to deal with you. This is important because it takes valuable time away from the queen and soldier, which frees up time for your team. A good worker knows how to waste the enemy's time by juking them out. You can jump on or off a snail, you can even jump on the heads of the queen for a little bounce. Wasting the enemy's time is a good strategy for the worker. You can always go for an economic victory, but again, you should only do this when another worker is helping you and you have been going economic the entire game, as it is extremely slow and a snail will beat it. Anyways guys, I hope this sums it up for you. I hope you are able to understand the game a little bit better. If you have any questions or I missed anything or you want to go over any strategies, just put that down in the comments and I'll jump right on it. Otherwise, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't, shoot me a subscribe. Anyways, stay tuned for more excellent content. Peace out.